Yo guys, I'm HP, this is Dr. Pink, and today's topic in the Guitar Sound Lab is tone control. What is tone control? It's not what you probably think, that you have all the controls in your devices or your amplifiers on a control. It means that we're going to the essence of tone control, which is going back to the basics, you, the guitar, and just one amplifier with basic settings. You know, back in the old days, amplifiers only had like a master volume, and that was it. And the rest was happening here on the guitar. And I just recently saw a video of Gary Moore where he played on a little practice amp, just in an interview, played on that one, and it just sounded awesome because this guy had an absolute fantastic tone control. And we're going to talk about this topic today, to give you an idea how you do tone control on the guitar, how you work with the volume and with your distortion. So let's get started. When we start to talk about tone control, you first need to get to know your guitar. In this case, this is Epiphone Elitist. It's not a real Epiphone. It's, you know, it's like a Les Paul, Gibson Les Paul standard. So, but that's not the topic. It's just you need to know your guitar and your pickup settings. On a Les Paul you have 3 pickup settings. You have neck pickup, bridge pickup. So neck pickup, bridge pickup, and both together. We have 2 extremes. We have the neck pickup and the bridge pickup, and I recommend that you figure out those 2 settings together with your amp setting. Okay, I've selected just a regular, this is what is this again, Captain Hook amp, just Captain Hook amp with some distortion, a 4x12 cabinet and the spring reverb, so the really basic sound settings. Now first of all you check how a regular chord sounds on maximum volume, okay, and how it develops when you put the volume down. So I'm taking an A5, but it's pretty much neck pickup, also bites pretty much, and also how solos work. Bridge pickup. So that was the maximum distortion, controlled here by your own volume control. Okay, now what I wanted you to do is put the volume down as much as possible, so there's the same sound but having the volume down. Okay, same with the neck pickup. It's the same sound. Sounds literally, and that's a principle of master volume in the old days. And if you don't know this stuff, better get to know it, because that's the main thing to have tone control on your guitar, that you know how your guitar reacts when you put the volume down. Okay, now you play the same thing again, put the volume a little bit up on the neck pickup. Now you can hear how the shape of the tone changes just by putting the volume up. Now I was on 40%, now let's go to 50%. Also check how the sound develops on the neck pickup, on the bridge pickup. Let's also go on 50%. Okay, so that's what you can do with the volume control to create the sound you want. But also plays a big role in the whole thing, you can also put the volume now. I put the neck pickup like on 75% now, and I'll play. Sounds nearly as similar as before, but the trick was I only played the strings very soft, and the one trick is you hold the pick that it nearly drops out of your hands, and you just go slightly over the string. And Then you can play a phrase, and each time you attack it harder, or then you go on the bridge pickup, and that way you create a dynamic shift just with volume control and control of your pick. Okay? Maybe at the end on max volume. See, that's how tone control works. That's one thing. Work on your picking technique, how hard you want to attack. And the other thing, which is also a very important thing, is sustain. What is sustain? That's basically what makes the guitar singing, you know, how long your tone sounds. It's still sounding because I'm doing the proper vibrato technique. Now you can hear some additional noise which should not be, but that doesn't really matter. It depends upon your vibrato technique, how long you can keep that note going on. And there I strongly recommend that you turn off all noise gates. I never put in noise gates because noise gates, they cut off your sustain, you know. And also turn off any compression. Compression prolongs the sustain, but doesn't give you a complete control over your sustain, okay? So this is a pure amp setting, just the amp, a cabinet and the guitar. Try to figure it out, how you can... I put up the volume, I'm going to put up on the neck pickup volume on max. Let's see how long we can take it. This way we still can prolong it. See, find out a technique where you can prolong the sustain of your tone. The sustain is the most important thing because and the noise you're hearing now, you will not hear that. I have an example backing track here. You will not hear this in a sound of a band, you know, that's... See, you don't really hear the noise you create with the extreme vibrato technique, and that's something you really need to work on. Another thing you also can work on to make you sustain better is just switching. I did not attack one of those strings, so the technique with just moving, it's not only sliding up, it's sliding up, and when you're on the tone, you give a little kick. See, now I gave it too early, so that the other tone kicked in. And when you change the string, you make a hammer on, but in a way that you don't create too much noise. And what I also strongly recommend when you work on the vibrators, also don't make the same vibrato all the time. When you listen to the really cool guys like Gary Moore, they accelerate the vibrator, starting slow. See, there was the dynamic shift in the tone on one note. That's what I'm talking about, tone control. You don't need to play fast runs. Well, you can if you can do them. But if you have a good tone control, you will sound 50% or 80% better than before without playing fast runs, and this is also technical exercise. So work on your tone control, get to know your guitar, how your pickups react. By the way, the difference between a good guitar and a cheap guitar is that these things I'm talking about here, that's why I mentioned that Dr. Pink is not an Epiphone, a regular one, it's an LE test one with regular Gibson's Les Paul Studio pickups. Cheap guitars don't react so dynamic as more expensive guitars. That's one of the big differences. I would say the main difference. They have this huge, you know, the more expensive, the better they are. They have a bigger range of dynamic expression possibilities. But even with the cheap guitar, you can figure it out how far you can take it from low expression to high expression. Just oh, I have a cheap guitar here. I'm quickly gonna change the guitar. So let us see the difference. Yeah, so here we have another guitar. This guitar was is like 2 classes lower than Dr. Pink from the price range, and as you can see, as I was talking about the dynamic, you know, the bandwidth of possible dynamic expression. In this case, here the volume suddenly shuts off. You know, here. Suddenly it shuts off. So it doesn't take it so much, it's like 25% less, but it still works, you know. That's pretty cool. Or and doesn't react so strong on this you know, just attacking the notes and giving them as much sustain as possible. But it still works. You just need to give it more vibrato and more pressure and more volume, then it works. That's what I was talking about when I said you need to figure out your guitar how it reacts. So, okay, now let's. As you probably can hear, this guitar sounds more compressed than the other one before, and that's also a possible difference between different quality levels. Sounds really compressed when you go down with the volume. Let me see if we get this. Yeah, still has quite a big dynamic shift, but this guitar sounds more compressed, which is okay. That's what I told you. You need to figure out how your guitar reacts to the tone of your amplifier and really figure it out. And that's what we call tone control. Yo, that was my little speech about Guitar Sound Lab, tone control and sustain. You really need to figure out this stuff. There are of course other elements which also have an effect on your tone, on your sustain and stuff like that. I wrote a blog article in the HPCrazy Guitar Academy about this topic. If you want to read that one, is about microphone settings and tube saturation and echo settings and stuff like that. It's available there. Or if you have any questions, you can also ask there about your gear. Good. Dr. Pink is over there. This is the cat. Me and the cat are saying goodbye. See you next time back in the Guitar Sound Lab.